So if you are a small and medium company, this is the right time to actually gather the 80% into the 20%, which is the sales department, and then get them understand how do they bring in the business and how do they affect the rest of the department.
Today's session is about turning your whole company into a super sales machine.
That's right.
Now tell me the first question. I'd like to jump on the question first.
Okay.
Now, how many % of a company normally consists of salespeople?
Good question. All right, usually it's always 80-20, okay? The company will consist of 20% of salespeople, and the rest of 80% they are non-sales. So what happened is that they depend on this 20% to bring in the 80% of the sales.
So the normal thing is what, 80-20?
Yeah, so the 20% will be the salespeople, 80% will be the production, customer service, the accounts, the procurement, the purchasing, and the rest of the departments.
But yet again, the salespeople are one of the most important, crucial part of a company, right?
Yes.
Without the sales, there's no accountant, there's no processing, there's nothing. Basically,
correct.
Sales, whatever that you produce, you must be able to sell it, then the company survives. Then the company must move on. But why is it that company only put 20% of their effort into salespeople?
Okay, traditionally people run organization, right, or company, they focus on departments. Okay, they always think that I must have this department, the sales, I must the operation, admin, accounts, and the rest of the departments. Okay, why? They thought that I must have the holistic approach in order to run this business. Especially for SME, the small medium enterprise, you have the advantage of putting these 3 steps I'll be sharing later. Because if MNC, right, it's a bit tough because of the system and structure. So if you are a small and medium company, this is the right time to actually gather the 80% into the 20%, which is the sales department, and then get them understand how do they bring in the business and how do they affect the rest of the department.
But my company, AIA Berhad, we have 3,000 staffs. 3,000 staffs who are admins, underwriters, and all that. But we have, in fact, 15,000 insurance sales people in Malaysia. So people like AIA, they pivot differently, right?
Yes.
Our will be 80% sales force and 20% admin staff. Should company follow this model?
It is an excellent model, but however, it's a different industry and it's a different ballgame. But the focus is, why do they have all this big percentage of salespeople? Because they understand the fundamental of a company is sales equals profit. You can have the best operation, the best accountant, the best procurement, the best customer service in the world, and so on. But if you don't bring in that sales, in that which is equals profit, it defeats the purpose. So sales department, it's very, very, very important.
Sales department is very, very important. Now, for all of you out there, if you have a friend or a business partner or a person who needs to watch this, how to improve the sales team, and how to move the whole company into a big sales machine.
Right.
If you would like them to see this, please share this video with them.
Yes.
And you can always ask us questions in between. We will try to answer all your questions, and I can see some comments in. I think some of my staff need to put in the comment because I need to see the comments in. Right? So you have any question, you can ask me in between. But now we will continue with the conversation with Bernard.
Yeah. If you are seeing from my FB page, if you're running a business, if you want to know how and further what the structure to use, you can actually send in message to his page or to my page as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So either one will do. So your page will be success-driven consultancy, right?
Yeah, success-driven training and consultancy. Yeah.
So my page is what you're watching now, okay? So you can put in a comment. We will try to answer your question today and kind of get back to you. Now, what do you mean by turning the company into a super sales machine? Can you elaborate that? What do you mean by that?
Okay, every dream of a business owner, whether it's a medium or small enterprise, you want to turn the company into a sales machine. What do I mean by this? That everybody in the company, whether they are in the admin, as I said just now, admin, operation, or purchasing, or service, or even the grounds, or even the tea lady, okay? Apart from sales department, you want to get into the mindset and also the understanding of a simple sales process. Not to ask them to do the practical selling, but at least they know, hey, I know what's going on with the company's business, and how do they get in sales and so on. You know why this is very important? I said in the beginning just now that sales equals profit. If they say the profit of company is not doing very well, okay, the sales is a bit low, and what happens is that it brings a lot of stress towards, especially the leader of a company. So if the leader is having all this stress, right, usually it will cascade down to all the other departments. However, if the departments understand that what are the salespeople doing out there, they can be a very good backup or support from the office. I'll give you an example. Let's say the salespeople receive a PO, purchase order.
Mm-hmm.
They got an order in, and they send this order back to the office, and the admin receive the PO and send it to a respective department. Now, usually this is what happened. They receive the PO. The mindset of not understanding the sales department is that, okay, I can put this PO one side first, I can do this later and so on. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't understand that if the process does not carry forward as soon as possible, the sales will not happen. Signing on the dot a contract or PO does not mean the money is in yet.
Correct.
It has to, it has to go through a process so that by the end of the day, you get the money in. So the entire sales process. So the other department, if they understand the process of a sales department, it's very easy for them to go into the direction of the company, if the direction of the company is to have a sales movement. Yeah.
So basically turning into sales, the whole company into it, you must actually get everybody involved, right?
Yes.
So tell me, what is the first step? Who is involved and who is not? What is your idea of who should get involved in the sales process and who should not get involved in the sales process?
Okay, the person who should get involved first, obviously, is the sales department. Okay, if you are not doing sales, if you are in the sales department, then something is wrong. The second people, it's the supportive role, who supposed to understand what is the sales role and how does the sales happen and what happened after the sales happen and then who gets affected. Why do they need to understand even though it's not their department? The reason being, because if they do not understand the simple process of getting the sales in, they wouldn't want to go along with the company to gain growth and profit.
So you are saying everybody should be involved. Now your everybody and everybody is like including a tea lady.
Yes.
The jaga of the gate.
Yes, surprisingly, right?
You mean jaga of the bed also? Not the bed. Sorry, not
The
not
gate.
jaga of the bed. Okay, jaga of the gate.
Not a paid.
Jaga of the gate should be also involved.
Everybody.
Everybody, the tea lady, the jaga, the account staff,
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
The intern.
The intern, yes and no. Okay, because the intern is there to learn. If they can, then it's
Now, let me just put it this way. Why the jaga of the gate is important. Now, a lot of times when I visit factories, when I visit, I used to visit this factory in Sungai Buloh. They're very funny. That 12:30 they close the gate.
Why?
So listen to me. 12:30 they close the gate. Now, if let's say the company boss is listening, Christopher, you should know it's your company. Your jaga will close the gate at 12:30. But the thing is that I always go and fetch them for lunch at about 12:35. So the gate is closed. So what do? I go in front. And when they see my car, they'll come down and ask me, who are you seeing? I say, I'm seeing Christopher. So they'll open the gate with a big smile. So I actually quite enjoy, engaging the jaga. So if I'm a big purchaser, one day I happens to go and visit that factory, I think the jaga will give me a very good first impression, right?
Of course. Yeah.
See?
Definitely.
So actually, the gatekeeper is very important. You want to keep your gatekeeper very engaged as well in the sales process. People like the tea lady and the gatekeeper, what kind of information should they know? Should they know the whole thing or should they know just what is important?
Okay, good question. Now, when it comes to, like you say, tea lady or jaga, They do not need to do the practical selling. What do we mean practical selling? The actual selling, the whole process, right? But they need to understand that a simple framework of how the sales comes in. Give an example. Who is that? Who are we selling to? You know, are they qualified or not? Do they have the budget, the decision makers? Do they have the need? All these are simple process up to a follow-up. It is very good if you have weekly meeting and gather all these people. Very short, about half an hour, 30 minutes. You know, it's like get together once a week. And the leader of the company, it has to come from a leader of the company. I repeat, a leader of the company, it has to come from the top, okay? So the leader of the company will actually share this thing with everybody. Hey, you know, we're moving towards growth through selling. And how we're going to sell is this. Then the leader will actually let everybody see the actual process, the selling process, which is like prospecting, qualifying, approaching, presenting, you know, presenting offer, the Q&A, test close, follow up, repeat orders, and so on. Now, the details of the work, it is done by the sales department. So the rest of the people will understand, oh, okay, so this is how the sales comes in, and it brings growth to the company, and by the end of the day, everybody grow. And of course, the KPI gets better, and people get better bonus. So the leader must make the entire company or the department understand, especially for SME, small company and medium company. Not MNC, not so much, but for the SME, the leader should let the people know about the sales flow.
So you're saying the number one steps towards turning your whole company, that was the number one step, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the number one.
The one of the steps towards
Sales
turning
machine.
your whole company into a sales machine is involve everyone
Yes, get everybody involved.
in all different levels.
Yeah, not necessarily practical selling, but
Yeah.
at least understanding the process. I see, it makes sense to them.
So let me just make this clear. So take example, if like my company AIA, if we have the security personnel, which is the gatekeepers, and we have this and that. So even the gatekeepers, the security personnel should know if somebody comes in and asks that I would like to buy a policy, who should I see? The gatekeepers should actually be able to send them to an appropriate person, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
if they know the proper process.
If they know the proper
If
process.
not, you know what happened? Oh, saya tak bukan kerja saya, you know.
Yeah.
Then they play tai chi, all this.
Or worse, they send them to the customer service. Then you know why it's worse send them to customer service? There's no button to press for new business one.
Yeah.
AIA's all insurance customer service, there's no button to press for new business.
So how?
Because AIA don't do direct selling, direct selling to
Correct.
right now. They always go through an agency for. So what happens is that this guy is going to go to customer service, no button to press, don't know ask who, and then don't know send to where.
Yeah.
So I think it is important, right? They have a SOP to do that.
Yeah.
So take example, if it's a cake shop, if it's a cake, or say a developer, you know, I think Peggy is watching today. If it's a developer, what kind of involvement should the admin staff write down to the salespeople and write down to the guy who actually building bricks? What kind of engagement can you just tell them how kind
Yes.
of engagement you should do?
Okay, first of all, when I say that everybody should get involved in the sales process, not everybody should get involved practically. What do I mean by this? You want to get the entire company to move towards growth through selling. Growth through selling. Okay, what's the word? Growth through selling. So people, whether they are TLD, the admin, or the security, they must have an understanding, as I said in the beginning, how does the business grow? It is through selling. So how do we sell? It's through this process. So as a leader, you should let them know, okay, our company, you know, we are growing, but we are growing through this thing. How do we do it? It's none of the other departments' concern. It is the concern of the sales department. So what happened? Other departments, when they understand this sales flow, the sales journey or the sales process, their antenna will go up. They begin indirectly, unconsciously, they will begin to look, siapa or who's the one that can actually buy our properties or our product or services, and who knows they bump into someone that has a need at that moment, and then they say, then they will call the sales department, Achong, hey, I think this guy, he's looking for this particular thing. Maybe you can call him. So it becomes a point of reference from the internal, rather from outsource. So everybody in the company, it's very active. The antenna is up. They are looking prospect for the company. Not necessarily practical selling, but at least there's an antenna goes up. So that, but this one has to be built through times. It's going to be a culture. Yeah.
That's interesting. Actually, getting the whole company, the whole process, the whole company to actually become a lead generation kind of thing. Right now. Then the practical guy, it is basically getting more eyes out there so that you know where the prey is.
Yes.
I'm gonna say prey. Customer. Where the customer is and get a hunter to go and hunt it down.
Right.
Correct?
So you see,
right.
who is the best person to actually sell the product? Is the own company.
Yeah.
You know, some company they outsource to
True.
other people to sell, which I think, not to say it's not good, but the best is to get your own people to understand your own services and product, your own team, whether it's sales or non-sales.
Whether it's sales or non-sales, get your own team to do.
Yeah.
Right.